Welcome back to Burned Notice, the series dedicated to analyzing Michael Weston and his team. If you are new to the series, there is a link down below to catch you up. This episode begins with Mike and Fee staking out the P.O. box they found in the last episode that coincidentally is owned by Carla. This is when Fee discloses the fact that she hates surveillance when someone shows up to break the monotony. She's there to retrieve the mail, and they follow her to an office building that has discreet security that Mike picks up almost immediately. And Mike directs a delivery driver in order to reveal the security. We also see one guy at a table across the street who gets waved away by the main security force. And don't worry, he becomes important later on. But also, did Mike get an innocent delivery driver killed? I mean, we all know that Mike wouldn't have killed this guy, but Carla, and as an extension, her men, would not hesitate, especially since the delivery driver is a classic cover ID. Also, later in the episode, we learn they do a debrief, and if they are, wouldn't they have brought up the fact that a delivery driver went down the alleyway about 30 minutes after the mail was delivered? That would raise red flags in the security office. And if Carla is as suspicious as she is, she wouldn't really stand for this. But this exchange proves that this is Carla's building, and Sam does some investigation into exactly where her office is, and they decide to set up a camera in order to gain some intel on Carla's building. Also, Sam brags about a watch that was a present from Veronica that sets up his turmoil in this episode. As Mike returns to the loft, an ex-prisoner shows up asking about Mike and his ability to stop criminals. He also references a former job, which the only one that kind of makes sense would be the drug runner with the DEA, but even then it's a little fishy because nothing else in his past season and even in the first season had not much to do with cars or thievery that the bad guy went to jail. But anyway, Mike tries to show him away, but his persistence gives him a minute. That's when he describes he is a wheelman for criminals. However, he wants out, but his former boss only wants him. So Mike gives him the options: call the police or do the job and not get caught. And after some more persuasion, him having a child that he doesn't want to leave fatherless convinces Mike to reluctantly help. And while Mike is scoping out the hideout of the crew, and Sam rattles out names that are the best at what they do: an embezzler, a safecracker, and I'll let Sam explain the last one.
Okay, here's a doozy. Candy. Originally from California. Assault and battery. Assault and battery. Assault with a deadly weapon. Her and Fiona would have a good time. Or, kill each other.
And of course, the boss man, Timo, who is highly motivated to get this score. During this reconnaissance mission, Mike decides that the weak link is the safecracker, and they're going to attempt to get him arrested in order to hopefully call off the entire job, saving Trevor, the client. And they use Fee in order to get the safecracker to drink and drive and ultimately get arrested. Unfortunately, he's not motivated to drink. That's when Sam has to pick a fight with him and lose. Also, I find it funny that Fee allows this to go on just a little bit longer with a smirk on her face. Finally, she screams and gets the police's attention, and the safecracker gets arrested, which should be the end of this story, but Timo is very motivated to getting this job done, so the job doesn't get called off. However, it does create a job opening for the one and only Michael Weston. Also, fun fact, the truck Trevor uses is the same truck from the season 1 finale. They just added a toolbox to disguise the sticker. Anyway, that night, Mike sets up a video camera, which would also send red flags to Carla. Because even if she isn't actively patrolling the buildings in her area, she's most likely paying off their security to give her some debriefs. And even if she's not doing that, she's got a network that could provide 24/7 security. Also, with the previous altercation with the delivery driver, you would think that Carla would invest in some cameras. Anyway, Mike almost gets caught, but he slips the guard after setting the camera up. And a little too quickly, Sam finds a gap in the security and also finds a way in during shift change when the only person left is that old man from the beginning. Then Sam meets back up with Veronica and she pops the question.
The marriage question?
And due to a botched divorce, Sam is currently married. Meanwhile, Micah is brushing up on his safe cracking when Fee messes him up and suggests,
The last one's always the same. C4.
but if nothing else, Mike doesn't really need to know how to be a safe cracker. He just needs to know enough to basically fake it, which those skills come in pretty handy because the next day, Timo meets up with Mike and he takes him to a bodega to test his skills, threatening his and Trevor's life until Mike cracks the safe with a solo cup, which is funny because later in the series, he needs audio equipment to crack a safe and he gets the same acoustic power from a 10-cent cup. But he is successful in saving Trevor and himself and gets inducted into Timo's heist crew. They go back to the hideout to discuss particulars of the heist, and Mike asks Timo very specific questions in order to narrow down where the job is taking place, but does it in a way that explains to Timo that Mike isn't double-crossing him. I mean, which he is, but Timo keeps Trevor back, ominously, but Trevor reveals to Mike that he got a
scatter point.
He said it! He said it!
Timo gives me the location. I park the vehicles for the crew nearby. Anything goes wrong, we take separate routes back to the boathouse.
And with the scatter point and the info Mike got about the safe, gives them just enough intel on where the job is happening. After that, Sam talks to Mike about the proposal, and Mike gives him very direct, obvious answers. Then Mike meets up with Trevor after he got the cars, and Mike explains they can't just tip off the building they're about to rob because CJ, the embezzler, is working security for them, meaning they're going to have to sabotage the job during the heist. After that, Sam pays a kid to go into the alley, creating a distraction for Mike to use. But as they wait for Mike, Sam asks Fee the same question about Veronica, where she says to be honest with her. And I swear this stuff with Sam meets back up at the end of the episode. But as the distraction happens, Mike gets a call from Timo, so he can't infiltrate Carla's office. Back at the boathouse, Timo informs Mike the job is happening right now. This does freak out Trevor a little bit, but Mike gets him to calm down. After getting his supplies, Mike asks to relieve himself. This is when Timo asks for Mike's cell phone, which I know he intends because of the job. But when I first saw this episode, I honestly believe that Timo wanted Mike's phone specifically when he went to go to the bathroom. I know that sounds stupid, but that's what I thought. I was like, why is he taking his phone from him? And then I realized it's like, oh, it's because of the job. I'm an idiot. But anyway, while Mike is taking a leak, he uses that time to leave a note for Sam and Fee, telling him that the job is on right now. Then they begin the heist, posing as maintenance guys, while Sam looks for the security wire to trip. And as someone who works in those panels, how in God's green earth did he know which wire? Honestly, with all those wires and all of the different buildings that are tied into that same box, there is absolutely no way that he knew exactly which one was the wire to trip the alarm. Also, if it's a security wire, it wouldn't be outside easily accessible, mostly because of stupid teenagers, but also because that is a glaringly big flaw in the security system, meaning anybody could come up and just flip it. But anyway, Mike sets up to break open the safe. When Sam trips the alarm, Mike does offer a counter plan, but Timo denies it, and they all leave to their respective cars when Timo realizes his tire is flat. Also, little continuity error. Mike says he gave Timo the bag with the jewels, but Mike is carrying both bags out. It would have made more sense if Timo left with one of the bags to sell the story, because honestly, where does he get the jewels? Anyway, back at the hideout, this is the lie Mike says to Candy.
I got the stuff. It was in the bag. I gave it to Timo.
And to sell that lie, Mike punches Trevor square in the face. Kind of funny. Also, Fee rigged the boathouse to explode, further selling their story. Trevor meets back up with Mike at the loft briefly to debrief. Then, as Fee is doing her nails, Sam shows up because Veronica kicked him out. See, I told you this would make sense. Forcing Fee and Mike to leave, and this is where Fee possibly gets another guy unalived. because when Sam bribed the kid to skateboard into the alley, which honestly, if any security detail would have saw that, they would have brushed it off. They wouldn't have even taken it as a threat. But anyway, they wouldn't have killed him because he's just some punk kid. However, she picked some old dude who could potentially be an old operative. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that guy got killed. Anyway, this allows Mike to go into the building, finally, to see what Carla has in store for him. And due to the botched mission before the heist, Mike gets a pretty frame with digital pictures of him trying to break in. Also, she left. You can tell by the fact that there's nothing in that office building. Well, nothing except for balloons and champagne. Oh, and also a crossword puzzle in order to meet back up again. This episode did an okay job. The fact that Carla is spying on her own building means that she was tipped off sometime during Mike's antics. Also, the job was alright. It seemed rushed at times due to the Carla conundrum and the Sam issues. This could have slowed down the plot, and I guess it was because the actress didn't want to be on Burn Notice anymore, so they had to write her off. But I feel like with her, they could have just said, yeah, she just doesn't want to see me anymore. And that'd have been it. We didn't have to have this long drawn out storyline for them, but I don't know. At least next episode, we get to introduce one of my favorite adversaries to Mike in Victor. But that's for next episode. Thank you for watching. If you're curious on how the FBI catches serial killers using psychology, check out Inside Criminal Mind. Link in the description down below. And as always, please like, share, and subscribe.